Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Natural Connection with the Shaman. I'm here with my co host, Jamie Jette, the sound medicine healer and high priestess practitioner. I just threw that in there, but honestly, she's very, very intuitive, like the high priestess card, which is one of our arcanas for the day. So, Jamie, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yep. Hi, I'm Jamie Jette with Stargate Sound Medicine, and we do a lot of our experiential meditation ceremonies. Katie Hancock and I, we do it here at Shangri-La over on Hollywood, and we just love to inspire and help people transform their own lives. So
Awesome.
that's it.
Today we're going to talk. Sorry, I just kind of threw that out there like, here, Jamie, and now let's go to Jamie. Anyways, today we're going to talk about the power of choice and what that we're kind of just going to flow through with it, but it's actually in the esoteric alignments as well. And one thing that came to mind when you said power of choice is I follow a man on Instagram who runs like I think Narcotics Anonymous, might be Alcoholic Anonymous, but he teaches Buddhism through through the getting sobriety avenue, right? And like he says, it is your choice. Hundreds of people will come in to the cycle or the program is what they call it, right? But very few will actually succeed. Very few will actually succeed. And he was talking about the specifics of using meditation as a form to look within to heal, like healing our illnesses such as addiction, impulsive thinking, critical thinking, and judgmental point of view. So it when we say the power to choose, the power of choice, it really does come down to your choice. Anything that we do, as far as magical, spiritual, holistic, all boils down to meditational practices. So it's the one prerequisite we cannot get around. And it's okay to be an enthusiast of spiritual practices and teachings and things like that. But if you're missing your meditation, you are doing yourself a disservice. You're basically just a fan of the psychic arts. Psychic arts, too. That's the other thing. Psychic connections all come through meditation. And it's not so much as like, oh, you must meditate. It's you must just clear your mind. So I'm not going to say any names, but I've been working with somebody very close to me since 2018, and he had severe ADHD. And over the years, he's been meditating and practicing yoga and talking with spirit, however that works with him, which we'll get into in a minute, the power of choice. And we had a talk last night, and he told me that his mind is clear when he meditates, which is it's like proof that this really works. Years ago, I had signs of ADHD. I had anxiety, I still do. You never really shed yourself of them, but I had severe PTSD, and meditation, qigong, and walking in nature, communing with spirit is how I've learned to balance my life. So when we say the power of choice, you really do have the right to choose whether you want to clean your mind, heal your body, heal your behaviors, connect with spirit, gain psychic abilities, practice magic. It all boils down to meditation. And we got on this topic yesterday. Jamie had given me a call, and we're like, how many people actually meditate? And right away, I responded, like 2 out of every 100 who say they do. So, I don't push it out there as like a religion would, like you must follow this savior, right? But if you're wanting to improve anything in your life, some form of meditation is the key. Now, you can do that through several different ways, like artistic. I used to draw these for a meditation. So, how about you, Jamie? What kind of meditational practices do you find helpful?
I I like unguided ones. I'm really funny that way. Um, I I just like to lay flat on the ground, with my feet, like funny kind of tweaked over. And then I put on this thing on YouTube. It's called Liquid Mind. And at first it has like colored vapors, but I don't see that. I don't know if it's just, it allows me to let myself just to breathe and relax. And I also do a meditation before I get out of bed. Literally before I even start the day, I like to get my body back in my body, so to speak. And I just start out with my gratitudes of what I am experiencing, my gratitudes of something that I know supports me and my friends and my family. I also even take a little bit farther for all the people on the planet. There's big changes coming. So
Yeah.
that's how I meditate. Um, I also, believe it or not, I meditate when I'm doing dishes. I know that sounds really crazy, but it's so mundane that I'm just standing there and I get a lot. Some people meditate when they're driving, they get a lot of downloads or ideas. I get mine doing dishes. So it's kind of like my Zen. But
Yeah.
those are just you. But I wanted to circle around to something that you said. And this for myself, when I heard you say it, I want your viewers to think about this idea that you just said meditation is a key. And a key is used for two things, to either lock something up or unlock something. So if you're finding yourself in, you're feeling like I'm not going anywhere, I'm stuck, I'm in a container, I'm squished. I like what you said, John, is because you have that choice. He now has shared that one of the keys is to meditation or practice meditation. 1 minute, 2 minutes, whatever.
Yeah.
But I find it interesting that so many people have this information, they have the key, but yet they're standing behind the closed door and they're taking the knob and they're going, what the hell? I mean, what up? Why is, and then all of a sudden it triggers something else and something else, and they totally forgot
Yeah.
that they want to quiet their mind, and they have the key in their hand to allow themselves that few minutes to engage and unlock that door, to be able to open it. And there's so many magnificent experiences one receives through meditation.
Yeah.
So I wanted to emphasize on that key. Use it.
Absolutely. It's funny you say that because one of my okay, so I spend a lot of time alone, right? And then before I started integrating back to the circle, one of the key factors to not wanting to integrate back into a society was I was terrified I was going to lose my time to meditate. And because I'd really found peace through meditation, and not that it would be like negative, but the world is so busy. So as I've been integrating back into society and making my friend group larger and larger and my calendar more booked, it's a little difficult to find meditation practices. So what I do is I just don't think about anything and I just focus on trying to keep my eyes closed and breathe for 30 minutes like I did yesterday and this morning before this podcast. Now, I know like from years ago when I first started trying to meditate, if a car drove by, it would ruin it because we have the squirrel mind. Squirrel, right? So It's okay. Today, as I do that, these days when I do that, if a plane goes by, if a car goes by, if a loud horn goes off, if a smoke alarm, you just try to keep your eyes closed and breathe through it. So it's more of, you don't really have to focus on some kind of strict practice. If you could, all right, I'm starting a Q&A. You don't have to really follow these really strict practices if you're trying to get in tune with your dream state, with your intuition, with your psychic abilities. If you want to connect to angels as ancestors, if you want any like health or wellness, the key is to, you got to turn off the impulses, right? So the impulses is like this morning, I could hear my phone going off on the table in vibrate mode. Zzz, 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 zzz. And the only reason it was there is because it was my timer and I didn't have airplane mode. 11:11. Squirrel. It's 11:11. I didn't have airplane mode on like I do now. It was just, I get many text messages all day, every day, and it was just going off. Bzz, 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 bzz. The impulse inside me was, oh my God, I gotta check this to see what's going on. But I kept the eyes closed and just focused on my breathing. That's the best way to start any kind of meditation. Just worry about keeping your eyes closed and staying still.
Yeah, I like that. And that too, it comes down, we get the gift. Every day is a new day, and it's 24 hours. And I know because I see the girls too, but it's a matter of choice.
Yeah.
At what point are you going to say, I want to get out of the container and confinement? I keep hearing these podcasts come up, these inspirational people come, messages are coming through. The minute I turn that outer and outside static, where I keep telling my friends, I want to remember who I am before someone told me who to be.
Yeah.
So there, number one is a choice. Number two, another choice that we can make, what am I going to do with this 24 hours? Am I going to sleep 8? Okay, there we have, you deduct that off your 24. You maybe eat for about 30 minutes, 15, 3 times for us, it's once. So there's a choice. So now all of a sudden, that's where I think surrounding yourself with people that are more that you seem like, wow, they seem to be successful in whatever there is doing. Surround yourself with people that um, help you, because if you're, what is it Bob says, if you're bored with the people in the room, you're in the wrong room. You
Yeah.
need to be in the room where you're tuned in, or you're like, oh Bob, I like the conversation, tell me more. All of a sudden your heart, your gut, or somewhere in your mind, you'll say, oh yeah, let me go to that, and then let me go to that, and then that's where the making the choices, little choices every day, even before you get out of bed. Am I going to choose to be victim, or am I going to choose and say, I'm going to be accountable and responsibility for me? I don't wear diapers anymore. I don't have mommy and daddy holding my hands or swinging me in a circle in the living room. I'm on my own, and it's me. It's up to me. So there, my choice is, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to get out, and for the next day, I'm going to choose to be the highest and best that I can to help support, even if it's one person, even if it's opening the door for a little old lady, or somebody who can't find something at the grocery store. I
Right.
mean,
So
yeah.
that's exactly what we mean, like making that choice to change who we are. And like reducing impulses, when you can reduce your impulse, when you choose to do that, you see the world through kinder lenses. I was also talking with a friend of mine about exactly that. He's like, well, what do you do when somebody's giving you this stink eye and you know that you could harm them? I said, it depends on what layer you are in life. And he said, what do you mean? I go, well, back in the days you could get angry and say something. I go, then you'll evolve a little bit later and you'll get angry and go within and it'll ruin your day. Or you finally get to a point where you smile and you don't let it affect your day because you know it's his anger he's dealing with. And he's like, well, I'm not there quite yet. And I'm like, but you're very close. And that's what matters. Doesn't and these are making the choices every day. Because how many we've all been through that. And you have hit pretty much both of our esoteric alignments today when you're talking about taking accountability and unlocking the box from your mind. Like, we truly are this one mind. And that's one way. Like, I wake up and do the same process. I learned that from the Buddhist. I wake up and sometimes I wake up and my mind's like, oh my God, today I got to. And before I let that crawl out too far, I pull it back in and I'm like, thank you. Thank you. I had a good night's sleep. Thank you for this bed. I come home and I thank this house, this home. I thank the walls, and it responds to me. It has told me before through strange ways. Like, I'll just say it. I'll just say it. It sounds kooky, but oh well. If you don't get it, you don't get it. I walk in my door. I have Pandora playing because I like to let music play for my house when I'm gone. And I come in and I'm grateful to come home and take a load off and just relax. So I start rubbing the walls and I'm like, thank you, Casita. Thank you for being my safety, my shelter, where I can take a load off. By the time I worked myself to the kitchen, Pandora had played some kind of commercial about somebody's house talking to it, and the house was very grateful. And I'm like, aw, thank you for noticing.
They come where there's consciousness is everything. There's so many different expansions and evolution right now that's unfolding right in front of our eyes. I believe truly that the patriarchal system is trying to keep us dumbed down, but there are too many of us that are saying, whoa, 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 and we're tapped into the one mind. And so they're finding the consciousness is in everything. Like you said, your house, they've proven it with plants. They're now talking about, and I think it's the birch or the aspen, Cheryl would know this, where the roots all gather through the soil and they all heal each other and they feed and nurture each other. Well, they're finding that with this consciousness, once we make the decision to listen and not and say, okay, I'm going to be accountable for myself. If somebody thinks I'm wackadoodle, that's on them, not me.
On that.
So I really believe that it's all about choosing to who we're going to connect with, and whether it's our house, whether it's our food. I mean, we definitely bless every bite that goes in our mouth just to thank Mother Earth for providing such nutrients for this phenomenal machine called my human body. So even with water, Moto, you've been studying that for 25 years. It's whatever you choose to talk or connect with. It's okay. It isn't like they said that,
Right.
oh, oh, that makes me uncomfortable, so I don't want you to do that. Let me repeat
Mhm.
that. It's me uncomfortable, so I don't want you to do that. And reality is, if it fills you and you take a breath and it feels peaceful, blissful, harmony, joy, if it feels that, it's okay. I can understand. That's why you are you, I am myself. Um, and I'm going to just do it this way because you know what? I have to live in my skin. And lucky for you, you don't have to be in my skin.
Oh, oh. It's funny. We're one mind. These are things that I was going to bring up too. When I was coming back to integrating into society, before I met you and Cheryl and all of our group now, you got to weed through all the, like they say in Las Vegas, you got to weed through all the dicks before you find some good friends. Things that meditation did, like I wanted to keep my meditation practices. Other people would say, well, if you got time to meditate, you got time to do what I say. And I'm like, oh, no, no, no. No, 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 I don't. And then others, it's almost as if when a person realizes that you can change, heal, control your mind, think better, retrain your body, rewire yourself, it shows that they are not doing the work, right? So it raises a little bit of envy. So when I was coming back into integrating with society, I was experiencing all of these different scenarios. And what it led to is people trying to break that meditation time from me. And I'm like, this is what the number one thing that would keep me going out to nature and staying away from people, because I had to weed through all the dicks before I could find my right tribe. And it exposes arrogance. Like we were talking about, like if somebody explodes at you, right? You don't gain a lot from meditation, but you sure as hell lose a lot of the right things. I know you've seen the meme before. You lose anger, you use jealousy, you lose all of these things that keep you in eventful. And one thing that I find very helpful is when someone is blowing up at my face, I don't overreact anymore. I don't even react. And to me, that's a huge step. So when, like she says, when I used to go walk in nature, I would talk to everything: the plants, the rocks, the lizards, the birds, the clouds, the sun, the stars, the moon. And it was just like being a little kid in the middle of a Disney wonderland. And I loved it. That's how, that's what I gained from losing all of those bad behavioral traits. And it was my choice. Because I'll tell you, my old life was anger, chaos, misery. I couldn't keep a single thought in my mind because I did have symptoms of ADHD. It was a non-stop loop of repeated words, numbers, adding up plumbing fittings, thinking about things that I did in my childhood, youth, worrying about if people were looking at me to jump me in the streets, or wondering if a bullet was going to fly through my window when I'm driving with my kids. Like, this was my mind. And all of that, from changing that in my mind, I've lost all of that. And guess what? Now, when someone, even if someone is angered at me, my presence changes that frequency. And you can do that. Like last night when I was meditating, I got to, once I finally went through the mind and into the heart, you start knowing this is your energy by it permeating from your chest. It feels like this giant vibration coming off of your body. And then it led up to my throat. Now, the throat chakra isn't always about just speaking your truth, it is your psychic center. So, like Jamie Jette here has talked about all of today's alignments already, connecting your throat chakra to this meditation can be as simple as humming, right? Hmm. Then, once you're in tune with your throat chakra, you're psychically picking up today's esoteric. You're psychically picking up what's moving in the planets. You may not know the aspects, but you sure as hell know the energy because you are in tune. So that was something that was really interesting, that you just went right through it.
Well, you know what that is. And I told you it's a muscle that I don't even hesitate anymore. That's another choice I'm making, is I'm choosing not to not ignore the little voice. And I know viewers, I know, stop, think about that little voice that comes in. I just say yes to it all. And that's a really tough practice I've chosen to do for this is now 9 weeks, is resist nothing and accept everything. That is tough as nails. I
Yeah.
will affirm it right here with my, because I have walked that jungle of, dang, that's really hard. But the more I chose, I kept saying no, because my human design is I have willpower of 1,000. I know that of me. I've already studied my chart. It where the willpower is, I'm not giving up. I want to be able to flow with the rhythm. I'm thinking of this precision universe that runs. Wow. I
Yeah.
mean, wowee, like Alan Watts says, wowee is gorgeous.
Right.
Cho- The choice I'm making is being committed to something, and the choice isn't for Bob. It's not for Shangri-La. It's not for Stargate. It's not for Katie, Cheryl, you, my mom, my dad, my son. It's not.
For
This
you.
choice, me. I am doing my own little experiment, if you will, of being gentle with myself. Because the minute I choose, and I'm like, wait, that's not the choice you made. You chose to accept everything, and you'll catch yourself. But that comes with practice. So anyway, that's why I think it doesn't surprise me when you say that all that you wrote is what I shared, because that seems to be happening a lot in my life with reverends at the Center for Spiritual Living and on Rancho. There's one reverend. She writes stuff down, and she's like, "We didn't even talk.
Mm.
What was that?" I said, "I don't know." So I don't know what you call it, John, but I think it's kind of cool that you wrote it out. And I said, "No, don't share it with me." And you didn't share it with me.
No. And well, you do a lot of one thing you do, your sound healing is a form of meditation. Your meditation, and you're a Pisces, you're naturally in the divine mind. What we call unconscious or dream mind is actually the divine mind, because that's where it all comes from. The ego mind is not negative because it helps us throughout life, but you are, even when you're doing those bowls, you're tuning in your chakras. That was a big lesson I learned after Jim's death, and the best advice I can give someone who's experiencing a major loss. Yeah, you always got to give yourself grace, because that's part of it. Forgiving yourself, like forgiving yourself for hurting, forgiving yourself for not being able to do things, forgiving yourself for just relaxing. How many of us have that problem? Like, that's one thing I had to learn, was to just relax. My normal days before all of this, my last mental episode, and I had to go back to meditation. I had to. We did it when I was teenager through martial arts, and I did it periodically throughout magical practices when I was in Wicca and different sects of magical practices. But I had to when I had a breakdown, because I could never give myself the peace of just enjoying my relaxation. And things like going through severe loss, they'll tear you back down. They'll make it, then you got to start right over. So you're definitely right. Give yourself permission to have grace on yourself. But
Sometimes when the loss happens, you don't even know how you're breathing.
yeah, yeah, you don't know how you're grieving. It's,
No, 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 how you're breathing. I used to think there was such a hole and emptiness that I envisioned it like the size of a cannon. And I even would ask Source or God, the universe, how am I breathing? How am I breathing when there's so much, there's a hollow hole? So when you're grieving, whether it's, a beloved, or some people, it's an animal, some people it's a job, some people it's a friend, or sad because of a friendship. Um, but I always would ask, how am I breathing? How is it that I'm still walking? So the when you have that kind of experience, and that particular mine was, Katie calls it trauma, because I had four things that had just vaporized, if you will. But now coming out of it, I did give myself, like Cheryl said, I gave myself, and I didn't get the choice. I was just kind of like, um, I was just a leaf on the water, just floating and bumping into this and bumping into that. And so I guess, again, I guess somehow I just woke up and there again, I made the choice that I said, this this is not this is not working.
Yeah,
Not working for this. And I know, that old saying, and David Allen, please forgive me for saying this, but when you walk in a room and there's a pile of shit, there's a pony in there somewhere
yeah,
taking all the shit. So that's where I just said, I just know that somewhere I've got to figure that out.
yeah.
And that takes time. Some people, they never do it in a lifetime. I was fortunate. I think mine was, it's going on 7 years. Mine was about six, that I just all of a sudden I was like, he, David Allen would not want me to do this. David Allen loved life so much. David Allen loved so many people. And you know what? To keep his legacy alive of the struggle and the pain that he endured with the multiple sclerosis, how dare I? And I did it. So I said, I'm going to be accountable for myself. And there are days I don't even walk, but because if I just hold on and I ride the wave, if you will. But yeah, and there again, it's another choice.
It
I
is.
can choose to stay in bed and not get out of bed, or I can choose to say, okay, I'm gonna weather it and see how it feels today. And like Cheryl said, just to allow that grace to flow through. And that's choices. Believe it or not,
It
it's
is.
choices. When we go in our closet to pick out something to wear, dang it,
Yeah,
that's a choice too. And I know that sounds crazy side by side with a loss or an emptiness, but it's a choice. And we have that one thing that is gifted us that is innate, like this breathing. What if we wells we couldn't breathe? So life is breathing us. Well, it is also innate for us to have free will.
yeah.
We have free will.
And even if your choice is,
Contrary to what the the society, there's a system that is, I told you this yesterday, John,
yeah,
there is a system that is imploding, exploding within itself.
yes,
It's yeah, and I have made a choice. As I told you, that's how I think we came up with these. We were talking about choices. Let's do the power of choice. We I'm choosing not to give it energy. I'm acknowledging that I'm witnessing, I'm not giving it energy. And instead, I'm choosing to give this lighthouse
yes,
energy, making the choice so that I know the collective. There's a huge wave, we the people, and it's going to be different than written. It's we the people are connecting and collaborating and igniting together, because there are those, I think that's the outer, that's what it's exploding on itself, because they're lighthouses in the rocks. They want everyone to crash. They want everyone to go to that light. No, 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 no. You stay away from the demise and the destruction.
Those
Let
are
that all
energy.
happen.
Those are energy vampires. And our
Yeah.
spiritual energy, or our life force energy, our freedom to be human energy, is called loosh. Loosh is like your magnet or your magic bank, your chi, your pranayama, your life force energy. And all of those negativity patriarchs that's out there trying to steal your loosh is energy vampires. It's LOOSH. Now, these energy vampires, this is just like what I was talking about when I started to reintegrate into society. And I didn't want to, because I didn't want my loosh energy taken when I was choosing to meditate. Unfortunately, I really didn't have much of a choice. A HOA community had turned I was raising teenagers on my own, and I was a single dad after a divorce raising my kids. My kids were going haywire in the house, right? And I was doing the best I could, but the HOA, they wanted us out. So we ended up having to lose it. And coming back, as I'm meeting new people in society, they wanted to throw negativity into my life out of that's an energy vampire. When you're having a good day and somebody comes and wants to steal your loosh, they're looking for you to get triggered. And we have the choice to say, no, I'm sorry you're having a bad day, but I've been working on myself for a very long time to get here. And it takes dedication and work to get here. I made that choice. Everyone has that right to make that choice. We can make the choice to give in to the energy vampires who want to drain and basically bring everyone down to the level that they're feeling. That's a loosh vampire, energy vampire. So we have the choice to turn that around as well. When we're feeling down, okay, feel it 100%, but don't give it to others. Give it to a doctor. The doctors are paid to, like, I go to a therapist. I have therapy appointments because it's just the sanest choice to do in our times, whether you have disabilities or not. I think the sanest thing we have is counselors. It should be, they have counselors in school. They should teach meditation in school, because we are in control of our energy. And I'm not going to let Donald Trump or I don't know much because I don't pay attention to the news at all. And some people will say, well, that's just naive. I don't care. I'm not going to give my energy to negativity, because it does. It drains our energy. And who has to rebuild that energy? No one else is going to put our loosh back. So when our energy is drained by vampires, we have to take more time away from the world, from people we love. And if you're like me, I've got a large family. I've got a large family that I barely get to see. I have a brother that I love very much, sisters that I love very much, children that I love very much, grandchildren, a girlfriend, good friends like Katie and Jamie. And if I let negative energy vampires drain my energy, well, that's more time that I need to meditate. That's more time that I need to go off into the mountains and ground back into nature, talk to a turtle, a butterfly, a caterpillar, a rock, a cactus, a cloud, just to regain my light, our light energy. So it's all within us. We have the choice to choose. Do we let it sink, or do we give that anchor away?
Are you going to pull some cards?
Sure. Actually, I haven't read it yet. A brand new divine masculine card. I haven't gotten this card yet. This is Horus. Horus is the
Ooh.
Egyptian god. And if you ever see, Horus is the left eye, Ra is the right eye. So, Horus, let's read this. Do it your way. Shirk the narrative other people have created to your life. Retrieve the past for healing. Your story belongs to you, and so do your choices. And I'll read just the introductory. When contemplating the idea of the inner child, it is natural to picture a 4-5-year-old self. However, it is also represents your inner infant, your inner teenager, and everything in between. Tap into the aspects of your past that went through certain events and give yourself the space to release the emotions they held. We were just talking about that. Connect with the infant within who needs to be nurtured and tenderly cared for. Be acquainted with your child self and tap into purpose, wonder, and joy. Reconnect with your teenage self to draw on energies of rebellion, individuality, and rage. So, this kind of goes with the healing we were talking about, especially if you've lost someone. We have to go back to those times. And where do we do that? Through meditation. This is an imaginary meditation practice. You visualize within yourself, even if all you do, can't make it up, right? Even if all you do is just hold your eyes closed and try to visualize yourself in these moments of loss, and you forgive yourself in that moment of loss, just piece by piece to help let it go as you evolve. Because same as going back to the inner child, we go back to that inner child and we protect it. And I always think of it like this. When I went back to my inner child and I showed it protection, it's almost like the whole entire timeline shifted. And all of a sudden, things were different in my reality. People were different in my reality. Situations didn't hold so much gain on me anymore. I'm not saying it happened one time. There's no magical wand that just erases it. It's a process. And it might come up again and again. And each time these things come up, that's when we're supposed to go back to those points. Use the meditation as your conduit to go self-heal. Hey, GQ, how you doing? GQ had a birthday this Saturday. Yeah, my man. How old are you, or how young? Okay. Well, we'll wait for that. I'm gonna clear a little energy real quick. He's 48 years young. Man, you don't look a day over 30. Katie Rose got us all these from Thailand. I was walking through my house clearing with this, and it sounds just like the big chime ones, the ding that you got. And you can tell that these are handmade. So we look at these people like the Buddhists in Thailand or Tibet. These little things right here are parts of their meditation. This is how they handle whatever they went to the monastery for. They make crafts. Some of them sit and go within. Some of them practice martial arts. Some of them tend the garden. There are so many ways for you to tap in. One way I was going to say earlier is write down your feelings. When I write, especially like when I write stories, I'm tapping into my imagination and I just let it flow. And you can feel, there's one I just gave you, the one in the journal. In that book I was writing, I could feel myself being the writer, being the person in the story, and being an observer. And I kind of document it in that story. I'm like, it's really weird. That's why I handed you. I want to see if it's legible or not, because I was in total trance most of that story.
Trance. So anyway, I love the card. I don't know if you can post that in the comments for people to see, but that is one great card. What deck is that?
This is the Divine Masculine Healing Oracle.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, thank
So
you. Like always, learn so much
the reason why
information.
the reason why I felt really drawn to this card is because we hear all the time about the divine feminine, and sometimes it's distorted feminine energy that we're actually hearing. So when I saw divine masculine healing, I'm like, you know what? I need to get this card because not enough people talk about what a divine masculine is. It's a mature person. It's someone who does not run from their egos. Hey, is that Cajun Queen? Is that Warrior Princess? Oh my God. If that's my sister from our old Milky Way galaxy tribe, oh my God, I'm so happy to see you. Thank you for coming in here. Okay. Hey, what's up? It is you. All right, girl. That is cool, man. Thank you for coming in. So this morning in meditation before this channel, before this video, I was meditating. And Anya Tyke, you just found me? That's crazy. This morning in meditation, I saw Anya Tyke and Raven Wolf. The other day, Alex came in. Alex the Ganja, I forgot, but we did a podcast on your channel, and he came in, and I'm like, oh my God, Warrior Queen! I can see all of the tribe coming back together. Jamie Jette, this is Lois, right? Was that your real name, Lois?
Hi.
That is
Glad you.
awesome. Anyways, oh my God. So I saw I knew we were gonna run into each other. Yeah, Lois. I knew me and Lois were gonna run into each other because my friend Alex came on the other day. And then today I saw Anya standing there with a shield on this side and a sword sticking in the ground. How much have I missed? Oh no, well, most of it. But I saw Anya Tyke. I saw Anya Tyke, and then I saw Raven Wolf, and I was brought back to a time when I was walking around my room because I open up 8 gates of the north of the compass, all 8 directions, wherever I live. It's called Bagua, but it's my way of Qigong. And I'm walking around and I'm lighting candles at each one of my gates. And they're live on their podcast. And Raven Wolf said in her mind, what's with the lighting candles? And I started laughing because we used to have that tight knit, like we could see each other's different practitioners, and we were one mind, like me and you were talking about earlier. Man, you made me so happy to see you again in here, girl. I don't know if I can subscribe while I'm live, but as soon as I get off here, I'm getting on your channel.
Welcome.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
welcome.
would. Lois or anybody can replay this when they go to your channel. And I've noticed too when people comment, even though the channel is or I mean the recording is not live anymore. I noticed somehow you get a notification and you respond, John, which is really cool. So
Yeah.
anybody who sees it later that's not seeing it live, because we do it at a really odd time at 11 o'clock in the morning. But this way, you don't have to see anything except when he holds up the cards. But I just tell people tune in and just put your podcasts in, or while you're washing dishes or cooking dinner, you can just listen to us, couple of, um, you know, people that really want to inspire people. And
Yeah.
I think that's what the collective is really coming together and wanting. So Lois, you can watch it as many times as you want.
Yeah. And I missed you too, big sis. Oh my God. I was just talking to my girlfriend Cheryl about you the other day. We were talking now, oh well, we were talking about addicts, people who are addicted to substances. And I remember we were on a podcast and you had said the same thing that I was saying, how sometimes when I was young, I spent a lot of time homeless by my own design. I would run away. And sometimes the drugs would keep me going. I didn't have to worry about where I would sleep because if I would sleep on the floor, chances were I got robbed in the morning, or I wouldn't have to eat. And I was telling my girlfriend Cheryl, how you were telling, like, sometimes these people that are homeless, they need that whiskey to keep them warm when they're out in the freezing cold. Or so we never judge where people are or what they're doing. I mean, we try to help. We obviously don't feed into hurting other people. Definitely not a supporter of that. But I remember me and you have the same views about that. Like, we just don't pass judgment onto these people. We don't know their situation. And here you are. Now, if that isn't manifestation, then I don't know what is.
My old David teacher used to teach us that when we would drive by or a homeless person would be pushing their wheels of sorts, that we would say, thank you for signing up for this journey and that I didn't have to. And I literally, that was a practice. At first I thought, wait, because I still hadn't understood that we choose, we make the decision to sign up for this particular mission our soul does, if you will, in this suit. But and literally just thank them for making that decision of signing up for that journey. So we don't know what that journey is for their soul. We don't know what lesson it is, but yeah, and
Yeah. And she just added they charge to stay in shelters now. A lot of people don't know that. I mean, I can see now because of all the funding being pulled from places. That's terrible. I remember, breaking into houses when I was young and
but
stealing
that
food.
but as love workers, that's why our mission is to just keep sending out love. I
Yeah,
really believe, John, that our heart, our radiating heart that we are tapped into with the planets, with the stars, with Mother Earth, with the magnetism in the earth. And here I go. I can tell my voice is raising because that's what happens with my passion. The passion that I truly believe that collectively the light workers, we as light workers, if you will, way seers, way showers, sages, the mystics, the oracles, it is our position to just keep sending out that light. Am I able to give a million blankets out? No, I'm not in that position, but I know that I can tap in, and there are, like with the manifestation with Lois right now, there are things and
yeah,
beings and archangels and beyond our human eye in the dimensions beyond that are able to, once that remember that light, and they'll say, oh, that's what we've been waiting for. We've been waiting for that ignition, because that other side of the veil, I'm telling myself, does not work well with low, slow victim, and then
yeah,
a fear. So I think if we do that, eventually these uh, dang shelters, and somewhere there somebody's going to walk in and say, why are you charging? And
right.
somebody say, well, I've got an acre of land, why don't you put your tents up here? But the deal is you have to be responsible for your for waste. It's a community. I mean, it's all about circulation,
Yeah.
you know, and plus I truly believe, I haven't been on the streets, but I'm told by others that there are some that really do belong in a hospital. So we could talk about all that for hours and hours and hours. But
Yeah.
again, I think just choosing to just keep filling our love picture, like Cheryl said, with we give all of it away, but through meditation and through gifting ourselves, whatever it is in that 24-hour day, to just fill our love picture. I know with you, it's walking out in the caves and with outside in the desert. With my husband Bob, he loves to be out with the trees. Cheryl is with these animals, you know, and Katie, it's up with the council beyond what we can see. I mean, I can with my friends, I'm learning. So if we keep staying filling our love picture,
Yeah.
we are able then to make the choice with a human, good, healthy boundary. We talked about, I think you talked about that the other day. Anyway, so we can give a little bit to each one.
Yeah.
Just
And
hold it and say, wow, maybe we can affirm and do magic with our spell of words and say, and this too shall pass
that's
for
right.
you.
Well, just like going into the meditations and healing that child, and then the reality changed, or walking out into the desert or the mountains and talking with spirit, like talking with spirit is me talking to everything and coming back, and you see the timeline change as you walk back into society. Magic works. And I saw a guy yesterday talking about, he's like, "Oh, I don't have any money to give. What do I have to give? I got to pay 10%. 10%. If you have 10% to offer somebody, it's we don't need to record ourselves when we do these things. But do you know a dollar doesn't mean nothing to a person who has a home, has groceries in their refrigerator, but to somebody that's starving, that could be anything. It could be to somebody that's dying of dehydration. That could be a drink of water. That could be a cup of water. So we always have something to give. Even back when I had no money in my pockets, I had something to give. I had cigarettes. I know it's not the healthiest thing, but you know what? I've been there. I've been there. Hey man, I don't have money, but do you smoke? Yeah. And I recognized that, yeah, like damn, I haven't had a cigarette and just small offerings of kindness are things that I don't like to brag about or to show. And you'll never catch me making a damn YouTube short about handing somebody, but it's within all of our reach to those things mean a lot to the invisible world. The invisible world, like you said, is all around us. And I've been gifted with the connection to them where I see them, I feel them, I smell them, I hear them. I know that they're always around. And even if I didn't know they were around, they came from me doing whatever I could, when I could, where I could. If there is a practice beyond meditation, meditation clears your mind from all the program crap we don't need. But the only other thing that matters in this world is kindness. Doesn't matter who you believe in, doesn't matter how much money you got, doesn't matter how big, strong, tall, pretty, ugly, whatever you are. Your kindness is your currency. And
Yeah.
those two things, if you can connect meditation and kindness together, even when I don't have anything to offer, I'm offering things through my heart when I'm meditating. I'm offering whatever I can. Even I took Cheryl to the Buddhist temple in Arizona, and their practice is you have these bowls of water in front of your deities, and you just fill that bowl up with water all the way to the rim while visualizing in your mind. everything that you want to give, be it money, food, love, prosperity, health. You overfill the cup. So we had some good things in here. Person who is a person is, let's see, where was that? She said there are two types of monks: those who stay in the temples and pray over the world, and those who go into the world and beg for a chance for people to open their hearts. Yes. If you ever see them monks out there, and now they have like the Buddha bracelets or whatever. And so those people are looking for kindness. That's their mission. They want you to open their hearts so that they can feel that love. So next time you see them, I know a lot of times I've been with people and they're like, oh, what, they don't really need your money. They really don't. They're there for a service. I thank you for putting that person who is a person. And let's see, that is Shamana Rachael. George says our roots are connected. Cheryl, just like the trees in the forest. The trees are one giant, just like we are one giant root system. Words of wisdom. Thank you, Cajun Queen. Ear sometimes is all. An ear, that's really important. We were talking earlier about integrating back into society after isolation for many years. And it really is important. Like I have a friend that I've been working with, we were talking about since 2018. Without an ear to hear the things that he's going through or experienced, or be there when he's had a meltdown and freaked out and not given him any judgment in return, just being there. They call it taking or holding space. We got that ear can mean the difference between someone harming themselves out of fear of rejection, or it could be a difference in the way that they change and treat somebody else. Because I know it was really hard to integrate back into society when I had all these magical stories to tell. And Lois in our Milky Way tribe was one of my first integration circles. I was so grateful to have friends that understood the things that I understood, that I learned I was going through. Because before that, I felt like the weirdo, like who am I going to talk to this about? The neighbor? They already think I'm cuckoo for hanging bones in my tree. You know? So, yeah, it is. Be there for someone if you can. If not, that's okay. That means somebody needs to be there for you. Time we have, time to give to those less fortunate. It doesn't cost a penny. Yeah, we can even offer our time. Seeing the unseen. How often do we walk past the homeless, ignoring them? Take the time to just say hello or smile. Yes, exactly. Like I said, when I used to smoke, all I had was a cigarette. It had nothing to do with the item given. It was they felt seen. They felt understood and appreciated, and that could have changed them. That sounds like you right now. What you going through? Or I know you've always had an open heart. You've been very beautiful to a lot of people, Lois. I remember I missed Raw and our little Zoom meetings together. Hermit mode. It's good to go into hermit mode. And actually, the reason why you're going into hermit mode is our transits. We've got Jupiter in retrograde, we've got Mercury in retrograde, we've got Uranus in retrograde, Saturn and Neptune in retrograde. All of these are telling you just go within. And the messages too, like the esoterica this morning was all about just tap into your unconscious, find that hidden key and unlock your memory box, because there's something magical about to come from you guys.
Yeah.
So I'll get into that more.
I want to piggyback on that because I too am a hermit. There's probably that I'm a hermit with my human design. I know that sounds really crazy because you know me, John, but I'm the opposite. I'm about community, but I'm also a hermit that I need that. But the thing is that in the silence, and we've talked about this a few weeks ago, I think, in the silence, when we go into the silence, into the meditation, into that monkey mind that goes with all the thoughts of the universe that are going by, in that silence is the opportunity for the conversation with the universe. And when you're in the silence, you're able, in that meditation, you're able to perhaps get to a portal, a gate, an opening of sorts, if you want to call it, to allow that softness in, allow the answers in, allow the needle, if you will, your own compass to not keep fucking spinning around. But all of a sudden, in the silence, we're able to take the needle, and it all of a sudden somehow it taps in and it just calms down, and you know which direction to go. I know we're going over. I'm sorry.
I know. Yeah, but well, I just noticed that Lois said that our friend Roz passed 3 years ago. That's terrible. I really looked up to him. He was a beautiful man. That's one of our old Milky Way. Remember when I told you that I had a friend named Brian? That was Milky Way Weekly, and all we had such an amazing group, all of us together. And I know that I wasn't talking with Brian when he passed, and then he came to me in a dream. I had no idea he passed. He came to me in a dream and gave me a hug. And the next day, when I woke up, a friend of ours, Mary, told me he had passed. So another friend of ours, Roz, has passed. So I mean, if I know Roz, he's up there listening right now, or he's right here next to me listening right now. I'll never forget one thing he did, and I knew that he was tapped in with the magic too. I was telling him, like, when I meditate, it's like a massage for the mind. And that night when I went, I actually took some mushrooms that night, and I could feel Roz with his fingers massaging my brain, and I and I heard his laugh. I'm sorry he passed. I fell from there, hadn't been the same since. Yeah, I don't blame you. Don't have
Well, we're really glad you found John, and I am grateful for your tribe Milky Way because I always said you just fell out of the sky. I don't know. I've said that every time. So thank you, Lois, for finding him, because now I know this gives us an opportunity for the expansion
yeah,
of the collective, because um, yeah, I want to say thank you that you guys had that cool connection, because
yeah,
then it's all about for the next stepping stone, for the next and the next and the next, which
right.
is beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Lois. And we are going a little over time here. I know you have a lot to do today, so um, Lois, I'm gonna subscribe to your channel and I'll get a hold of you too. And everybody else, George, thank you for coming. Rachael, Shaman, Shamana, Cheryl, and who else? Anyone else? I thought there was one more. And anyways, thank you, Jamie, and tell Bob and everyone that I'm sorry we went over, but thank you very
But
much.
I'm a woman who gets to do what she wants. But also, I want to say this for the viewers afterwards. Thank you so much for taking the time to support John's channel. This human being, just like you and me, there in Viewerland, all of us are here to support each other. So subscribe, tell a friend. If you know somebody who's kind of questioning things in life, have them tap into John's channel, because what this does is it helps generate the algorithms, and it also helps create more of our brains going, oh, let's do this, let's do that. John is so all of a sudden, since we started doing this, it really has ignited. Even in 1 year, you just exploded.
Yeah,
So for the viewers afterwards, thank you, thank you, thank you for tuning in. Subscribe, put the little bell for the notification, because you want to get notified.
Yeah, and another thing too, look into the descriptions of most of my almost all of my videos, unless I forget. We have Stargate Medicine, we have Uniting Wellness, we have the Natural Closet, and then my website, www.shaman.com. We are all a collective of supporting each other. And that's one thing. Thank you very much for that. You guys, too, thank you for my subscribers and viewers, because YouTube has been one of my biggest integration tools. It's helped me go from a person who had a total mental breakdown, rebuilding myself, and then my voice to come back into society started on YouTube. So thank you guys. You are the difference. And since we've got Milky Way Galaxy, I want to end with what Brian used to always say: be the change you wish to receive. Thank you, Brian and Roz, for bringing us all back together. All right. You guys take care, and I'll see you guys next time. We do this every Tuesday, by the way. Hey, Mother Nature. There's another one of our tribe. All right, you guys. Talk to you later. Peace out.